All right. So it's 16:02, 16:04. I'm going to call a meeting of the Code of Conduct and Public Participation Work Group to order on January 15th. You know, so we don't think we need a roll call because everyone is here. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
None from staff.
Just for consistency, probably a roll call would be a good idea,
Oh,
Jerry.
yeah, we gotta start putting that on the agenda items.
Well, that's
Um,
right, because if somebody's listening, they're not going to know who's here.
and that's
So,
right. And under statute, it specifically
um,
um, calls that out for hybrid meetings and virtual meetings. So I'll
okay.
call first names and you can just introduce yourself, first and last name and municipality.
Okay.
Royal,
Royal Deleggy, representing Northfield.
Alice,
Alice Peel, Waitsfield.
Peter,
Peter Kirby, Washington.
Jerry,
Jerry D'Amico, Roxbury.
and in the room, Lee.
Lee Catania, Orange.
All right.
Well, welcome. So, any adjustments to the agenda?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't see anyone from the public. Anyone in the public online that we're not aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, no, no public comment. Okay, first item on the agenda is the meeting minutes. We get a
Motion to approve.
motion
I'll
by Lee
second that.
and second by Alice. Any comments? Hearing no comments, so I'll call for acceptance of the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes five to nothing. And the next item is consider complimentary CVRPC policies and review initial draft for basic structure and content. Did we have a draft? We have several drafts. And I noticed reading through everything, we have a code of conduct with my conflict of interest policy. So do I
That's right, Jerry. In going through all the what we call the conflict of interest policy on a day-to-day basis is actually the code of conduct and conflict
Mhm.
of interest policy. So I think um, that's something that we can talk about addressing. I did pull together based off some of the templates we looked at last month.
Mhm.
And some of the other examples provided to me, I include some language by the document you sent, Alice, and then tried to integrate comments heard during that meeting
Yeah.
to give us a starting point with that code of conduct draft. I should have called it as such.
Mm.
Clear.
Yeah, go ahead. Should we be updating the existing code of conduct and conflict of interest? Or we're gonna have a separate code of conduct?
Well, I think that's a question we can contemplate. We have employee conduct as well for anyone who
Mhm.
opened the personnel policy under section 8.
Yeah,
Code of
I
conduct,
reviewed that.
yeah, code of conduct and conflict of interest, and then under the Board of Commissioners handbook, I think that's the closest place where we begin to touch a little bit on decorum um, and interactions among commissioners and mainly among commissioners, but commissioners and public commissioners and the staff.
This is really just for the meeting stuff, so it should be meeting code of conduct.
That that might if you didn't hear on the call, Lee said, well, what we're talking about really is about meetings, so maybe we need a meeting conduct um, policy, and we could probably change the name of the code of conduct policy to conflict of interest policy, but that's
I think we should do that. We need to revise the code of conduct and conflict of interest policy if we're going to do a separate code of conduct and public participation work group or for meetings.
How many documents would that give us? Are we trying to have,
We still would have two,
all right,
a conflict of interest policy, and maybe we just need to rename.
Jerry, if I might interrupt.
Yeah.
a moment. What we're talking about here is the code of conduct for meetings that would apply to both members and staff. We have conflict of interest policies for the staff, and we have conflict of interest policy for the board members. If we want to include what we would want to do, the conduct, we'd have to go back and modify both of those. I would suggest we just have a meeting code of conduct as a separate document, like what the draft that Christian had prepared. That way, it's a separate, it's not a personal code of conduct, which the others are. This is a code of conduct for the meeting.
And Jerry, you have Peter's hand up.
Yeah, I'm trying to follow too many pieces of paper here.
That's fine.
Go ahead, Peter. I don't see his hand up. Put it up there, Peter. Okay, you're fuzzy. All right. Okay, Peter.
Yeah, basically, I'm in agreement with Lee. The meeting conduct is for commissioners, the staff, and for the public.
Mhm.
This is where this whole thing actually came from, are the interruptions, interjections, irrelevant things by certain members of the public and whatever. So in order to keep the commissioners and staff from getting in trouble by responding inappropriately, which I have been tempted to several times, but so far I've held myself. I think we need that code of conduct for the meetings.
I was going to ask, what are you doing, Peter, that forces people that all of a sudden we have conflicts at our meetings? I'm just joking. Sorry.
Well, I think the biggest thing, Jerry, would be I didn't vote against the Montpelier plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would expand that it's not from a staff's point of view, I wouldn't say it's limited to public participation and setting those guidelines. I would say it's also ensuring that commissioners remember that we're here and should be here in a mutually respectful environment and should assume the best intentions when anyone, whether it's another commissioner, a staff member, or a member of the public, weighs in on an issue. So I really do want it to be constructed about encouraging the right environment in our meetings for the three major players, the three major groups.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we're going to have a code of conduct for meetings.
Yeah.
And it would be applicable to both commissioners and the general public.
And staff.
Yeah, so I mean that way it doesn't conflict with our internal code of conduct for employees and the one for commissioners themselves. So.
And Jerry, you have Alice's hand up. I think it was up first, and then Lee's also got his hand up.
Okay, they're not using their yellow hands there.
yeah, I did.
Yes, she is. Yes,
Lee
I
doesn't
was.
have a yellow hand, so we can't,
Oh, well,
Yeah, go ahead, Alice.
we could paint, anybody that's
There we go.
sitting here live could have a painted yellow hand.
Yeah.
That could be a requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're looking at here, what's prompting this is behavior at meetings.
Mhm.
that seemed to be the thing that got this going. And I think that maybe at meetings, I'm just looking at a way we can resolve this. Anybody that's at a meeting, attending a meeting, doesn't really matter who it is, whether it's a staff person or a public or the commissioners that are make up the committee. It seems to me that the first thing and we might want to say this at the beginning of a meeting to get this point across, is that it's really the job of the chairperson to run the meeting and to address this issue. And to intervene when there is a problem or an outburst or inappropriate behavior. And that it's the people attending the meeting that needs to understand that they need to address the commissioner. I mean, you address the commissioner when you want, I'm sorry, the chairperson, when you want to speak. I mean, we're all talking about our hands up and yellow hands and things like that. And if there's an issue, that should be addressed to the chairperson to begin the resolution of. So it's really a matter first of, I guess this is in Robert's rules. I haven't read Robert's rules lately, but it seems to me that that's kind of one of the basic things that's happening is people attending the meeting, plowing ahead and not, I mean, Peter does it well, saying, stop, you address me and I make a decision of whether, a public can speak in the middle of a meeting or something. But Peter does it well. And I think that's the first thing that needs to be conveyed in this.
Right, that all questions should come to the chair or any
Yeah.
comments to the chair, and the chair can ask someone else to address the comment.
Right, and
Question.
the chair can like stop
Hmm.
immediately saying, hey, wait a minute, this is out of hand, or, you know, I don't like that you just escalated or inflamed some argument. Although you want to, you need to allow arguments, but not in an incendiary way.
Right. We're going to say we should allow discussion.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. And, they're not arguments per se, they're perspectives.
right. And it can get heated.
Oh,
You just got to figure
understandable.
out.
We've all been to meetings with, especially in the last 10 or 15 years, 20 years ago, you didn't have this much contention as you do today.
Mhm.
Maybe that's a misconception, but it certainly seems like it. I don't remember.
No, I agree, who
Yeah,
knows? Our fearless leader is certainly setting the tone.
yeah. Well, I think it's happened even before he came on the stage, but
Oh, okay. I
yeah,
understand what you're saying.
yeah. I think let's go back and look at it. I think it's the birth of the internet, which allowed everyone
Yeah,
to have a voice. It's obviously
Right,
gotten
Gary,
worse, but yeah,
you got Lee in the room and then Peter on screen.
yeah. I got them all on screen, but I can see
Okay,
people. I said my camera is not working.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead, Lee.
okay, you had two draft documents sent to you, code of conduct and rules of participation. And I'm suggesting that we put them into one document called meeting code of conduct and rules of participation. And so that it's clear that what this is not the code of conduct that's elsewhere in our bylaws. And if everybody has had a chance to look at those, what's in the draft, I think we could go through and see if we agree how they're written, if there's any changes need to be made or anything on that. If everybody is in agreement, that we should combine these into one document. And
Which
use
doc, which documents are they, Lee? Because I saw a bunch, I went through a bunch of them, and
Well,
Yeah.
I
there
mean,
were
the
six
public
doc-
participation at meetings by the one by that's from the town of Deerfield, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So this is a little different. This I sent an email the other day. I pulled up to find exactly when and what time with 4 documents attached.
there were six documents.
Six, yeah, right. There probably would have been the meeting packet as well. There's one document which I did not do a good job of labeling. It's in the stock Microsoft styles, and it just says Code of Conduct in a bluish green. And then below it says general conduct carrying out duties in board meetings, and da 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 da. And then within that document, there's 2 draft documents. There's that draft code of conduct, and then on page 3 starts the draft rules of participation. And that's what Lee is recommending, that these 2 documents would fit well together as one document called meeting rules of conduct and public participation.
Okay, I'm looking at it now, and I didn't realize it was actually 2 documents. So that's where I was confused, Lee.
So which ones were they, again, Christian?
At the top of what is a rather undescript Microsoft document, it says Code of Conduct. And then you have a subtitle below General Conduct, some text and bullets, and then another subtitle Conduct and Carrying Out Duties of the board or committee. Some more text and some bullets, and it's about 1, 2, 3. It's about 6 pages all in all, 5 pages. I can send it to you again, Jerry, if you don't have.
Can you
if that's-
can you bring it back? Can you bring it up on screen?
Absolutely, I can do that too.
Let's see if I.
Oh, maybe did I send out the draft public records inspection and copying
Yes.
template? That was the 6th one? Okay. Yeah, I remember I threw it in here, not thinking we were going to get a chance to really talk about it, or maybe just weigh in if we wanted to. All right, let me share my screen. Say goodbye to your friends. Bring it up so you can see it too, Lee. Go back. Is that the way?
We had it, then lost it.
Oh yeah, that's probably because I'm dragging you all around my screen so Lee can see it. How about now? Do
There
you
it
see
is.
it?
We got 16 different common pieces of paper here, but okay.
But not that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little out of rhythm.
That's all.
Nancy and I just wanted to make sure you had these documents, so I sent them out as opposed to coming from her. I know, makes it harder too. I guess it didn't go away. Now, whatever. So this is the code of conduct, and I think Lee's recommending we start working through that.
Yeah.
Interest in that? We're ready to get to that point?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So right off the top, we have the code of conduct with a general purpose. It might, based on what I've heard so far in the meeting, what do people feel about me adding a small statement for the beginning of any meeting? Similar to, I'll scroll down to the second part briefly. Rules of participation, I included this sort of draft language for consideration for the beginning of any public hearing. But it might be worth just having a basic statement of decorum or conduct at the beginning. I can draft it, you guys can see what you think of it, and we can keep it or trash it, whatever. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, and that should go first.
Yeah, I would put that right in here. right above everything.
Mm-hmm.
And what does it say again?
That statement?
Yeah,
Well, I haven't written it yet. It would say
Oh.
something to the extent of, I try to keep it as short as possible, but something to the extent we're all here to respect mutually, to discuss issues of regional importance in a mutually respectful environment. Questions will be directed, discussion will be directed by the chair. And I don't want to say following Robert's rules because we rely on Robert's rules, but we don't
Yeah.
necessarily follow them.
Right.
Some state requirements supersede them, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe some of the language will be kept over, and this is an opportunity for commissioners to do the work of the commission. Staff are here in a supporting role.
This should apply to all meetings,
Yeah,
not just the, the monthly meeting. So, and
Yeah.
that's a good point.
any commission meetings.
right.
Mhm.
Should apply to regional plan committee
Yeah.
as much as it should apply to the Board of Commissioners meeting.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it as short and concise as possible, but set the tone.
Yeah.
And recognize roles that the chair is running the meeting.
Yeah.
Staff are here. It is an opportunity for commissioners to discuss, and staff are really here as a backdrop. So the public should be directing their questions through the commission, not directly to staff, for example.
Jerry Royal's got his hand up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Just want to,
I've got
I like-
the.
I like the statement as it's been drafted, Christian. There were two suggestions I would make. One's already been discussed, and that is to have it apply to all commission and committee meetings rather than just hearings.
Okay.
And then also, on the second line, starting with respondents from the committee, and staff will try to answer any question of factual information without being defensive. That way, we're saying it's not a debate. We're simply answering factual questions people may have.
Okay. Answer questions of factual
Information
information.
that closes off debate.
Okay, I've lost the screen.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
And also we're
I
talking
still
about.
have it.
I'm looking at that. I can't see any of the
Oh
participants.
yeah, you can't see people anymore. That could be if you're on a little screen. But we were talking about this as a.
Yeah, I
expanding this.
heard Royal. So
Okay, so it'd be to expand this statement to be all and set the tone more or less for all meetings. Okay. Start.
well, here we go. The nihilists. I got back to everything. Okay, here we are. So after the basic introduction, then go to the purpose.
Yeah, then the purpose would be in there, kind of
Yeah.
outlining why we have these codes of conduct. This actually we might actually want to move this up. We could include this statement with agendas or on the back of every agenda, something like that. So it's clear and present in any public event, in any meeting led. But it's probably worth having the purpose at the top to ensure all meetings of official activities are conducted with respectful, orderly, and productive manner.
In which case, then we could have public that first paragraph, looking at second, and then it could go on every agenda.
Yeah,
How about that?
I think Berry City does that. They have their statement on the back of every agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the top. Oh, we are at the
Yeah.
top. Good. So purpose, happy with the basic idea of a purpose. We can,
Hmm.
I suppose, get into wordsmithing as we get to a final organization. If it's small things, we can catch that later. If it's big things, definitely want to know now, I would say. All right, then first section, general conduct. Staff commissioners and committee members of the CVRPC shall conduct themselves in a manner that serves public interest consistent with this code of conduct. That title would be changed, and other policies of the CVRPC. I could list those policies.
I don't think so.
I don't
Okay,
think I
that's
agree
fine.
with you.
In addition, staff commissioners and committee members will act honestly, consciously, reasonably, and in good faith at all times, having regard for members' responsibilities, the interests of CVRPC, the welfare of the region. Refrain from communicating or acting in a disrespectful, abusive, and or threatening manner toward members of the public, other commissioners or committee members or CVRPC staff. Comply with all applicable local, state, and federal government laws, rules, regulations, including but not limited to the open meeting law, public records law, as well as CVRPC adopted policies, including but not limited to the conflict of interest policy and the personnel policy. I'm sure. Yeah, there's not much else I can add. Yeah. So I think, do people like these bullets? Do they hit the high level areas where we're interested in addressing? So one is sort of setting that environment, act honestly, consciously, reasonably, and in good faith. That's sort of the environment. Refrain from communicating or acting disrespectful. Be nice. And then comply with all other regulations.
Pretty well covers it.
And if you think of anything else
But the
after,
public we should require the same from the public. I mean, you can't
yeah,
ask them to comply with applicable local, state, and federal rules, but I mean, still to refrain from communicating or acting in a disrespectful, abusive, or threatening manner towards
what if
anyone in the
that,
order.
yeah, and I might not sure if I put it there, but what if that fell under the chapters of rules of participation that start on page 4?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, Christian, I don't remember seeing this, but it's possible it got deleted accidentally, but
That's fine.
yeah,
So what if, so I'll show you where I'm thinking. So we have that
yeah,
question of how the
yeah,
public should ask,
yeah,
should behave.
yeah.
What if that fell under this section of the code, which really addresses how you behave in the meeting itself?
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, do we want to, here in this section, address anything about the length of time that,
Yeah.
uh, maybe it is in here, but
It is.
uh, I think that's a particularly tough one.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it can be limited. Yeah, 2,
Yeah.
3 minutes. Yeah, I would at least put it to 5 minutes.
Mm.
I
Boy,
think,
we could be going on for hours on here one group come in with the same comments.
well,
Yeah.
then
We could have 20 people come in with the same comments that they want to overwhelmingly get their point across. And so 3 minutes is generally accepted.
well,
And we can I mean, the chair can ask for follow-up comments if,
yeah,
I was going to say on that, and where I'm chair right now, I think that would be at the discretion of the chair.
yeah.
yeah,
Rather saying if the person came in with written, we'll say, a document or whatever, and was reading it, I don't really want to cut him off halfway through.
Yeah,
He's just extemporaneously rolling along and whatever type of thing. 3 minutes is more than sufficient.
Yeah.
But if he still had points of fact to do, then the chair can grant more time. How much
No,
more time do
I
you
was,
need? I'm going to need another minute. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
That kind
but
of thing.
Peter, I would say if we get to the 3 minute level, yeah, unless we thought they were over, especially germane to the issue, I would say if you have anything, please put it in writing and submit it to the commission.
I think that should be in here anyways.
Hmm.
That was one of the things when
Right. So if you want to say go on beyond your 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes, should we allow that to continue? Then yeah,
I,
because you could have somebody reading the Declaration of Independence, or
that's quite short.
yeah.
I've been at meetings where what the chair will decide or say is that every person that wants to speak is going to be given a turn. And if and any person who's already spoken but has additional comments, we give everybody a chance to speak. And then if you wanted to speak again, it's that the chair will recognize you after everyone who wants to gets a chance to speak.
Yeah.
And I've seen that work very well.
Mhm.
Um, I also I hear what Peter and
Yeah.
Lee, what you're concerned about, but I think it's another direction to the chair
Mm.
be able to make that decision about if a person needs, it's obvious they need a little more time. Um, I think the chair can figure out um, a little more time. We can grant a little more time. You can stop and say, how much longer do you think this is going to take? Rather than just chopping someone off. 3 minutes, you're done. And I've had that done to me.
Mm.
And that really doesn't work.
Mm.
I don't think. I mean,
Mm.
I think kind of being flexible without allowing a long
Mm.
filibuster to happen
Mm.
is the way to go here.
I don't know
Yeah,
how.
I think we all can concur that it should be up to the chair, but and if it's as Peter said, if you can wrap it up in another 30 seconds, we'll allow you to continue. But again, and it's going to be at the discretion. If somebody on the commission wants to hear more, I'm sure they'll speak up as well. But I think you should leave it in that you get 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like the way it reads now. It just says each person will be limited to 3 minutes of comment, which may be extended only by the chair.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a comment on this if that's okay, Jerry.
Yeah.
Um, so recommend or possible proposal, each person will be. All right, I was gonna say that generally limited to 3 minutes. Um, but I think the language makes that clear. So that maybe is not necessary and opens up vagueness. But there's a comment about putting it in writing if it was going to get much longer. We do get long, long documents from members of the public sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
we've seen them and had to read through them.
and yeah, sometimes they're just
Yeah.
attacks, sort of
Yeah.
baseless and not linked to open meeting or anything else.
Yeah.
And it has not been the policy of staff to act as an intermediate for that kind of communication. Rather, the response has been, we thank you for your comments and encourage you to participate in a forthcoming committee or commission meeting to share your concerns.
Mm.
That's it's a little bit different right?
Mhm.
If someone's in the meeting and they're telling you they're going through public comment and you say, all right, well, you can submit the rest of your comments in writing and we will distribute them to commissioners is different from, say, preemptively emailing me
Mm.
a long complaint that with the expectation that I will forward everything on to the full board. So I'm actually as interested in anything in your feedback on that, because that seems like it fits into this. It's out of meeting public comment, essentially.
Yes, and I can understand that, Christian, but that you can I mean, I suppose Mr. A could forward his comments to the chair, but they should go somewhere because they're public, so they should be a public comment, and they should be forwarded to the relevant committee or group.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I know, so you wouldn't be shutting somebody off because we are shutting them off after th 3 or 3.5 minutes.
Gary, if I may, I got my hand up, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
If, what I've seen usually in meetings, if somebody comes in and wants to enter a written comments and stuff, they should bring that to the meeting, give a synopsis of it, say, here, I believe this is what should happen at this location. And it's all written out here and I'm submitting it, and let them submit it then. And that way, they have to, they just can't stay home and push the button and send a large document. If they want to do public participation, then they have to do public participation. And public participation would be sending it outside of the meeting. So if they want to submit documents, it should be at the meeting that those documents are submitted.
Yeah, I would support that as well. It's rather than the alternative is staff ends up acting as almost a secretary to someone who hasn't got worked through their commissioner in their local municipality, isn't working through their select board or council, and is just sort of expecting a full discussion of their ideas. I agree that bringing it before the commission acts as a filter. The commission that can then direct staff to go further on it or not. I'll put some language in and you guys can take a look at it and decide if you want to.
Okay, let's go back to, can we go back to who is the public? We are representatives of the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. Now let's say somebody from Danville has and I'm just picking on Danville. I could have said Newport or Franklin County or something. Will they be allowed as well?
Yeah, my understanding of the rules is all members, they could be from California. I think they still get to speak during public comment.
Okay, at our town meetings, we only allow citizens to speak, town Roxbury residents, except with the permission of the town, of the residents. So if somebody from Warren wanted to come over and bitch about the road, between Roxbury and Warren, we could not allow them to speak. No, I don't know if we're doing it legally, but that's what we've always done, and it hasn't been too often. Usually, we change the rules to allow our representatives to come speak.
Washington has that same thing.
Yeah.
Somehow though I feel this is different. I'm not sure on Robert's rules or on legalities or whatever type of thing. But I mean, I can understand because at town meeting, i.e., a representative from Greenpeace from California wants to speak at town meeting, the odds are, chances are, they will not be given that permission. However, at our meetings, if it was something that involved environmental
Yeah.
things and a member from Greenpeace wanted to speak, I almost think we would have to allow it.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm picking on Greenpeace. You're picking on Danville.
I'll throw my 2 cents in here as well. So I've run many hearings, with regulations and laws and whatever. And very often you'll have someone who may live in your jurisdiction, but is also, has some representation by a larger body that does not reside, like a business interest
Yeah.
or a professional organization that has some stake in people who do live within the district and can speak on their behalf.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll give them their 3 minutes and say thank you very much.
Right.
Basically, yes. Now, quick question, and
Yeah.
this would be more in a procedural question or whatever, but if a member of the public uh, starts to speak on something totally irrelevant to the business at hand, do we allow it to continue?
I would cut them off, remind them that
that
public
should
comment
be,
is for relevant issues.
I totally agree, but somewhere things like that should be written
It
so
is
that
in there.
it
It
covers it.
is.
I got my hand up. Peter, under draft rules of participation in front of you, one of the things that I was questioning on this, and it goes to really what you were saying, are we going to limit the public comment to only agenda items? Or are we going to allow public comment on other things that may or may not be part of the part of what we're doing here? And I got
Yeah, that's fine. I think I know what you're saying, Lee, and I can run with it. Right. So prior to last summer, every agenda said public comment at the beginning, and that was your opportunity to speak. And then as we were reviewing the Montpelier plan, we changed our public participation because we wanted an opportunity for more of a back and forth with commissioners. And since then, some language is stuck in agendas. And I think every month I make a note to myself to delete it, which says public comment for items not on the agenda.
Yeah, I was
which
going to
means
ask about that. Yeah.
which means then you really have to have public comment for each agenda item in the agenda. So I think we could open that back up at the beginning of the agenda and not take comment on each item. We may want to then add additional comment at the end of meetings too, so people have a chance to weigh in, rebut any conversations that might have taken place, members of the public.
Yeah, thank you, Lee. I had the same question because I was wondering why we're allowing comments
Mm.
at each on each item, agenda item. If that's just something that's creeped in, I think we ought to that ought to be kibosh. Because it is a meeting of the commissioners, not a meeting of the public is welcome to sit and listen. They can participate under public participation, but I've been trying to get this across to our select board, who were dragging meetings out till midnight by allowing public comment on every issue.
Yeah. So I think we could move public comment back to the beginning unless the chair entertains additional comment during an item. You might have
Understandable. I mean, that should be, there are times when you're going to want a comment from the public, especially if you ask them to come to comment on it. I mean, so that has to be at the discretion of the chair. But to have somebody comment just because they like to listen to the sound of their own voice on every issue. It's time consuming, and it doesn't necessarily add to the meeting, the information being presented, or germane to the discussion. Like, if citizen A comes in and wants to, you know, to speak on item number 3, and it may be germane or not germane, but at least it'd be better that we just say, you had your chance under public participation. You don't, this is our meeting, not your, for you to listen to, but not to participate in.
Okay, well, I'll put something in there, and if
Yeah.
a month from now it rubs us the wrong way, we can always change it. I'm gonna scroll back.
When we bring this up to this to the commission,
Major.
we're gonna allow citizen A from Barry, and citizen C from Waterbury, citizen D from East Jockstrap, someplace, to comment. That's I don't think that's relevant. But this is the rules that we have preferred. If they don't like it or they want to comment, they can send comments to their commissioner.
Yeah, and all would be available ahead of time via
Yeah,
the packet. So if they had comments, they could provide those during the public comment period.
yeah. And
All
it's
right.
always, yeah, they'll always be available because we do we do publish our agenda, and we publish the packet. So they'll be able to read through this, and if you really feel strongly as a citizen, you can to contact your representative, your commissioner.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, that maybe we need something in there. I think that's an important point that we don't really acknowledge anywhere. Is that commissioners are meant to be that conduit between
Yeah.
their select board
Yeah.
first and foremost, but almost indirectly to their residents.
Mhm. And that's a good point, Christian. Maybe that should be somewhere in there, somewhere in one of our documents. Because
You know,
I don't think many people look at that in the 30 odd years that I've been on public boards. I've only had 2 people contact me on regional planning commission issues, and maybe 3 on solid waste districts issues.
I mean, maybe
Hey,
I'm sorry, Peter's got his hand up.
go ahead, Peter. Actually,
Yeah,
I can't see those though.
that's okay. Uh, I guess my feelings on it is I agree that, we are the conduit for our appointing board and also for residents. But I agree with Jerry. In the dozen or so years I've been on solid waste and close to that now on the RPC, I've never had a public member comment. If we were to put that in, I would think that would be more in the what is it? The Board of Commissioners
handbook.
handbook. Yeah, there we go. I think
Yeah.
that would go in there rather than in here.
And we do have language similar to that, not exactly the same, that really encourages commissioners to work closely with their select boards and check in with their select boards several times a year. Alice has her hand up.
Yeah,
Al-
I'm wondering if we're talking about rules of public participation. Maybe we could have something very short, but to the point of telling the public ways that they can communicate. It would be, again, being able to make a public comment at the public comment time during an agenda. Definitely at a public hearing. And in a public hearing, it's really specific that it's on the particular item that the public hearing is on. And then also suggest that, and tell them in this that speaking directly to their representatives to CVRPC is another way to communicate. And just sort of put it in here, informational. Doesn't have to be a big deal, but we then are saying that we're open to public comment, and here's the ways you can do it.
Good.
I mean, my feeling too is like select boards should be, I have been contacted by a select board member about something coming up on a CVRPC agenda, or could you find out if there's any help available here? I mean, it's definite that any public official should be communicating to their rep about things they want to know from CVRPC. That should be happening too, and it's generally not. I have a standing item on the Planning Commission agenda that gives me a certain amount of time to always report in on CVRPC stuff. So that's another area where
Yeah.
we should have better flow of information, I think.
In actuality, I find the flow of information goes the other way. Staff will send me a notification, i.e., better roads grants or whatever type of thing. I know it also goes to the select board and to the town clerk. I usually end up going to the select board meeting and letting them know about it.
Yep,
So follow
you're
up on
right. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm doing that all the time. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think it's relevant for rules of public participation, but
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Can we move on, Christian?
Yeah, recognizing we're getting right to the top of the hour, and I do have a lot. You've given me a lot so far. I think the closing question I would pose to the group is more about the outline itself. So we're going to merge this into one document. First part is going to be about the conduct and the need for a respectful environment. And then we have sort of this general conduct, then we have the conduct of boards and committee members. Then we have the conduct of staff, and then we have upholding the conduct, which allows just some explanation of how one would potentially raise a concern related to the policy. And then it'll go into the rules of meeting participation, which in that first section, rules of public participation, I think that's where I would insert some of that stuff you were just talking about, Alice. Like, you will be given a chance to talk during the designated times. If you do not have enough time to express your wish, you can submit written comment following the meeting. You can also always reach out to your commissioner to convey information as well. And then the final section is that meeting procedures area, which I think a lot of this actually came from possibly our personnel policy or the handbook itself, with me adding maybe some additional issues. Do we feel like we're getting to at least to the right outline? Peter's got his hand up.
Christian, would you send me this? Apparently, I misplaced it, or
Yeah, I will send it to you right after the meeting, Jerry.
okay.
Christian, this is Royal. I got one more comment. It's going to sound real nitpicky, but that's me. At the bottom of page 4 of this document, the last line, the third bullet point, under ensuring the meeting is, which everyone feels safe. The last sentence, I would suggest should be changed to read, disruptive people will be asked to leave, comma, and removed if necessary.
Is that an edit to existing language or adding?
It would be changing, it would be moving the comma
Mhm.
two
Oh,
words forward.
what number bullet is?
The third bullet point, respect the orders and rulings of the chair.
No, I'm looking at the wrong bullet point.
Page 4.
Yes, now I see it. I was on the wrong page. Yep, got it.
Okay,
Respect the orders and rulings of the chair. Relevant
Yeah.
comments and interrupting others will not be allowed. Disruptive people will be asked to leave, comma,
Comma.
and removed
if necessary.
if necessary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, who's going to enforce that?
the chair.
Comma.
Chair. I
Yeah,
I
ready?
have threatened
You ready,
to do
Peter?
it.
You that big? But how
I
about
have
if we invite
threatened, I have
Ruben?
threatened to do it in the past
Yeah.
and explain to the individual that if necessary, law enforcement would be called, and he knows how that goes because it's happened to him several times.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, maybe we should ask Ruben McMartin to be at all meetings.
Yeah, good idea.
I often say, when he was a kid, I used to say he was big enough to charge everybody $5 a day to live. But he's a pacifist.
I was just going to say he's a big teddy bear, but that's okay. They don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we need additional detail. I think the reality is, if you're being asked to leave, you probably, and they were refusing, you probably call the meeting or temporarily adjourn the meeting. Anyone in the room could leave the room and we would call for additional resources for folks who might be trained.
Let's hope we never get to that.
That's
No,
right.
and I don't think I don't anticipate.
Yeah.
You know, Peter's been sitting here with his hand up.
Oh, I didn't even realize it still was. I was going over on the other documents. I guess my only concern on the timing of public comments, i.e., let's go back. I'm trying to think of an action that we had night before last. But if the public comment is made basically at the opening of the meeting, and they have more, which we tell them to submit, we are taking the action that night, and the action will be most likely completed. It could be tabled, but most likely we will be completing that action tonight, and their comments are irrelevant. So I'm just not sure quite how to handle that.
Gary, I have a little short thought on that. Reflecting on some of the things that have been said already tonight. Well, I think two things, Peter. One, the most salient points, if they have valid points that they're making, you as chair or committee chair could extend their opportunity to speak longer, right? Other commissioners could ask for additional information and table something if they felt there was relevant information that they hadn't been provided. So I think there's leeway there. If someone's making good points that the commissioners want to hear more of, there's leeway there to postpone an action.
Right. And if we impress upon them to talk to their commissioners, if they figure, with commissioners obviously are given open reign. They seldom have been called, limited to 3 minutes.
Yeah, commissioners are not. No.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, talk to your commissioner. Maybe we'll get more commissioners more involved than just their own opinions, but trying to include their constituents.
the other question I had was at one point here in the last hour or so, there was a possibility mentioned of public participation at the end of the meeting as well. I don't know. It just kind of was thrown out there. I don't think we had discussed it at all.
But you've already made a decision. Like, assume that, the question is,
It's true.
the article is, let's uh, pass a bill or a recommendation to do X or Y and Z at the end of the meeting, and we've already passed it or rejected it.
Or deferred it to a future meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is, that's moot. We should not be putting that in, as far as, public participation at the end of the meeting.
Yeah. That can be done
They
in right.
can speak under other business if it is relative to the business of the, commission, correct?
If we have
No.
another business, we generally don't have another business item on our agendas.
I think we've got a good start. What do you think, Jerry? Other people?
I agree. I think so Christian said he's going to send me this so I can look at this and make some comments. But,
Maybe I'll make some of these revisions first, Jerry, or you want to see what we got? See it. I'll
please
send it to you first.
just send me this, and
Yep.
I encourage everybody, if they've got some input, to put it down and send it to Christian as he develops this.
Okay.
Do we want to set the next meeting? Tentative
Sure.
anyway?
Share. All right, so this week. So we ran into an issue with the quack, right?
With
So this is
with the BWIC.
the BWIC. Okay, so this is the third Thursday of the month. So the next third Thursday.
Or no, the quack, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was originally last week.
Right.
6 would be the 19th of February.
Sounds good.
WIC is still scheduled for the 19th, but we'd be meeting again at 4 p.m.
Yeah, I see it. Yep.
So we wouldn't be
Thank you.
conflicting with Quack?
No.
BWIC is at 1. And
Yep.
then we can meet. It's always the quack that meets at 4, but it's not meeting next month.
And the quack also meets the week earlier. So we could technically meet a week earlier if we wanted. But then we're gonna have to be changing which Thursday we meet from one month to the next. Because the quack meets every other month.
I'm good on the third. but
The third? Okay.
Not some of the others.
Okay. Well,
Six-
the third Thursday,
1600?
1600.
Sounds good.
Wait, so
Okay.
it's at the 19th
Yes.
at 1600.
Hmm.
And I'd like to be done by 5 because I'm signed up for a webinar on beavers.
Don't want to miss that.
Yeah. I have a friend who's a beaver.
Listen to adjourn.
Jerry, you got a motion to adjourn here from Lee. I think he's got someplace to be.
Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
I-
Motion to
yeah.
adjourn. Second,
Peter seconds.
Peter, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Bye.
Aye. Oppose? Abstains? Motion passed 5-0. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate everything you've
thank
done.
you all
Thank
for
you,
the
everyone. It
phone
was a good
Very well.
discussion.
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
All right, take care. Bye.